people. And yet, to be known as the love people is not only an honor, it is also a challenge. Because love is not something that just shows up in the good times or shows up when things feel good. The challenge is not unlike that in the 1950s when there were certain laws on the books that were degrading and dehumanizing to some, and so were degrading and dehumanizing to all. And so people of a generous faith needed to answer the call of love and show up. It's not unlike the situation in so many states for years now and continuing. Laws on the books with respect to gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people that are degrading and dehumanizing to some, and so degrading and dehumanizing to all. So love shows up answering a deeper law than that law. And in Arizona, there are laws that are degrading and dehumanizing to some, and so they are degrading and dehumanizing to all. And those of us who answer to a deeper law, to the law of love, are challenged and honored to come forward, to step forward, and to answer to that deeper law than the law that might be on the books. Next summer, Unitarian Universalists will show up in Phoenix for Justice General Assembly 2012, and will show up to bear witness and to be in solidarity and to respond to that deeper law than the laws that are currently on the books, that law of love. And to be able to do this in a way that is not just exciting or action or activism, but instead emanates out of our deepest faith and our ongoing convictions. And that recognizes that Arizona is also Alabama, is also Georgia, is also North Carolina, is also Tennessee, that is everywhere that we are. We go to Arizona next summer to learn and to live out this love that is not only an honor, but is also a challenge. We need more than strategy as we bear witness. We need theology. And so to help prepare us not only for next summer Justice General Assembly, but for when we wake up tomorrow and the next day and the next day, we are very fortunate indeed to have with us today from Arizona, Tupac Enrique Acosta, who has inspired me and I know will inspire all of you.
Quali Iwaltik as well. Buenas noches, good evening, Quali Iwaltik. Nekane no toca Tupac Enrique Acosta. Mi nombre es Tupac Enrique Acosta. We're here to roll our sleeve up and open up our heart and let's do some vision about what has to happen and what's going to happen and how it's going to be after. Today is the equinox. How do people like Jan Brewer, the governor of Arizona, how is it that people like Tom Horn, the superintendent of education for the state of Arizona, how is it people like Sheriff Arpaio conduct these atrocities and they're considered laws, they're considered valid instruments of social ethics. They go through the whole processes. But if you check them against reality, they don't stand up. The question is, how do these individuals of representation and authority in the society that I'm pretty sure everybody's in the room is paying taxes, right? You don't have to answer. But we're paying for them. But how is it that these personalities of representation and jurisdiction and authority that are supposed to be you still guys believe in the divine of kings? You don't believe that, right? Just check it. Anyway, how is it that these constituencies that are built on fear and ignorance are created and sustained? That's the crime. Because we're doing that. We're doing that. We can point the finger at Pyle, we can point the finger at Brewer, we can point the finger at Obama, we can point the finger, but we keep pointing the finger, but we have to ask, how did this happen? How did we do this to ourselves? How did we create a constituency of humanity that is willing to amputate the humanity to participate in that atrocity? And how are we feeding into it? How are we supporting it? How are we being manipulated into perpetuating it? These are the fundamental questions that we want to have the Justice Assembly address next year. With SB 1070 is not at all. When those cops were there, the UUs were there on First Avenue in Washington, right? Those yellow shirts. I've never seen so many yellow shirts.
Wait until the summer.
Well, wait. Do you want to be arrested? That's what he says to me. So of course, what I tell him, I'm not here to be arrested, I'm here to arrest. You might take me into custody, but you're not going to arrest me, you're not going to stop me. You're not going to stop this movement. You're not going to stop this power. You couldn't.
Amen.
You had no jurisdiction, you had no power to arrest this. You might take me and my body into jail, but you're not going to stop me. I'm going to arrest you. I'm going to arrest, I told them, we're here to arrest injustice. That's what we're going to do. Even if it's just for a little millisecond of thought that it took for you to try to think out what the hell is he saying. That's what it's going to take. Just add another thought, another millisecond, and then pretty soon we'll have a whole second. Then we'll have another, after all we'll have a generation. And we'll have start to put in place what has to occur. Not just on this side, but in those cops' mind, in their heart, in their soul. Uta-Azteca language family is like being part of the Romance language or the Germanic or any other, the Sino or the Indo-European. Our language, the oldest root of that language, 40,000 years. 40,000 years. So, when you come to Arizona, remember this. You might want to remember this. Why? Because you're going to hear the young people will come up to you, they'll converse with you and say, you know what? We're not immigrants here. We're not the immigrants here. So we're being called to that fight. How we come into that fight? Through the civil rights side, through the human rights side, through the indigenous people side, we are all being called to that fight because in that fight, there is no they. It's all we. There's no they.